Pragya Murty. She's full of passion and hope and strives to eradicate the stigma associated with psychological disorders. She does this through being an active part of sensitization programs and numerous awareness campaigns. Currently, she works as a psychologist with the Global Mental Health Alliance, but is also a Study UK brand ambassador with the British Council India. Through this conference, she hopes to promote the subject of mental health and provide helpful solutions. On to you, Ms. Pragya.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And I'm very happy to be a part of this platform. And I'm very excited to speak to everybody on board right now. And I think it's such a wonderful initiative that, we're having a webinar on destigmatization. We know this word very well. We say it very often, but then nobody actually means it, or nobody actually, knows how to destigmatize. And that's why I'm here to help. And it's great to be here again. Now we talk about mental health on such wide scales nowadays, but then mental health does not just isn't just about psychological health. It's also about biological, social, and psychological aspects of our everyday lives. Our physical health, our disabilities, our genetic vulnerabilities, our peers, our school, parents, our self-esteem, social skills, and coping skills, and also the amalgamation of all three aspects of our lives. And that's what forms our mental health. Now, when it comes to mental health and our overall personality development, I would like to also very briefly talk about this concept called emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence basically has 5 very important components: social skills, motivation, empathy, self-regulation, and self-awareness. I believe that emotional intelligence is the key to a successful and holistic life, owing to the fact that it makes you accept yourself and the others, and makes you work on your flaws, and helps you get in touch with yourself and your emotional needs. And it makes you a better communicator, it makes you a better friend, a better family member, and it gives you the drive to be better in all aspects of your life. So let's look at the 5 components very closely. Empathy, it is the ability to emotionally understand what other people feel and see things from their point of view and imagine yourselves in their place. Self-regulation is the emotional self-regulation that we're talking about, or the emotional regulation. It is the ability to respond to the ongoing demands of experience with the range of emotions in a manner that is socially tolerable. And it sufficiently should be flexible to permit spontaneous reactions, as well as the ability to delay spontaneous reactions as needed. So emotional regulation is basically having control over your own reactions and your emotions. Then we come to self-awareness, which is a conscious knowledge of one's own character and feelings. And then social skills is basically how we communicate and interact with each other, both verbally and non-verbally, through gestures, through body language, and a personal appearance as well. It plays a huge part. And motivation is why a person acts or behaves in a particular way. And it also drives people's willingness and desire to do something. So that's what covers our the 5 components of emotional intelligence. And once you are more emotionally intelligent, you are actively seen working on your own self and around your and on people around you and around your surroundings. And it also makes you uh, a better individual and more successful in a career, as well as a better person. Now moving on to uh, how you have to form your own tribe and your own community of 3am friends. See, oh my, I didn't change the slides. Yeah. So the first step to being a better person and being a better friend, or being able to communicate with other people and making better friends, is by initiation and reciprocation. Now we all go through different kinds of issues, and we all have different kinds of people in our lives. Some of them are acquaintances, some of them are work people, some of them are friends, some of them are neighbors. So we share different kinds of information or different pieces of our lives with all of these different people. Now everyone craves for inclusion, right? So As much as we all want to be invited by others, you have to remember that they are craving to feel included just as much as you are. So you could wait for someone else to ask you to do something, but you may be waiting forever. So you should just swallow your pride and not be egoistic in these things and just take the first step. Not all relationships that you initiate will pan out, but being willing to take the first step can go a very long way towards creating the foundation of a lasting friendship. And of course, this won't be the only step. You also equally have to be initiating and reciprocating when someone else reaches out to you. And very important in this one step is to not overdo your part. Don't over initiative or don't over initiate or don't uh, overdo your don't try to pester someone to be there for you, or don't try to be there for them all the time. Give them their space, and because that might help you from just not exhausting the relationship or leading to a burnout in the relationship. All right. The next thing that you could do is to be present. So you have to get to know your friend, your parent, your neighbors, and to do that, these days all the millennials and children, school going kids, we if we want to develop something very deep in our relationships and in our equations, we got to put down our phones. So our tablets or computers or whatever, they distract us from really connecting with the people sitting right in front of us. So consciously focus on listening to what people are saying. A very important part here is to understand the difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is the physical ability to be able to hear someone, but listening is to actually comprehend what they're saying and to be able to respond properly, to be able to respond accordingly and show that you care. And you can only do this by trying to by showing them that by showing them right kind of responses, by saying that you understand, or maybe sharing an experience that you've had which is very similar to what they're saying, or by asking the right kind of questions. And if they tell you about something they're struggling with or excited about, so bring it up the next time you talk to them also. And people will be much more willing to invest in you if they feel that you truly care about them and what's going on in their lives. And you can only make them feel you care about them if you really do care. So put the distractions away and commit to being present with your friend for the time you're together. And I cannot overestimate how important it is to a good relationship or a good friendship to make the other person feel valued while you're with them. Next, next, right. Uh, the third way of forming your own tribe is is by opening up to the people that you want to talk to. Sometimes people need to be coaxed out of their shells by hearing someone else share before they're willing to do the same thing. So don't assume that if you start telling them about yourself, they will judge you or remain uncalm. So give them the benefit of the doubt and just be willing to open up. Tell them about your life, tell them excerpts from your life, give them experiences, and ask about theirs then. You should be comfortable to be vulnerable enough to tell people what you hope for and need. And your friends want to help you, but they but you can't be that mind reader. So you need to just let them know that giving them a little insight into your life can go a very long way. Um, And lastly, we're talking to the parents, teachers, and guardians, anybody who's present in the audience with us right now. Look for red flags when your child is talking less, when the child is eating less, is craving solitude, or does not seem interested in physical activities, very aggressive, and is using foul language, has very reduced social interaction. These are some of the red signs or signs that should be addressed immediately. The next thing to do for parents and guardians here is to get to know your child. And children over here, you all should also be willing to open your lives to your parents and let them in and let them know who you are, and just share your passion and your hobbies with them. Let them know what you're good at, and what kind of songs you listen to, what kind of stand-up comedy you watch, what kind of TV shows you enjoy. And the parents and the guardians here for with us, don't discard your child's ideas of fun and encourage their passions. Don't say that dancing or getting into art or painting will make them any less of a person or less of an intelligent person. And effectively communicating with your children or your parents, it also helps in breaking the barriers and trusting each other. For example, my parents share their childhood stories with me all the time. They don't compare me with other children or with their own selves at their age. Their body language is very pleasant towards me, and they always want to just want to know get to know how my day was. Little things like that, where you all sit and eat together, you all want to have that evening cup of tea together, you all ask each other how your day has gone by. It really makes a lot of difference. And believe me when I say that before having friends, 3 a.m. friends, it's always better to make your parents your own friends. It shouldn't be like if something goes wrong, you shouldn't be like, oh shit, my mom and dad are going to kill me. The first thing that has to come to your mind is supposed to be, okay, I need to call my mom and dad. So it should be that kind of interaction with your parents. And next thing is that one thing that we all don't learn is that as much as we are supposed to protect our own self-interest and protect our own identity, we should learn the balance between self-improvisation and self-acceptance. That's a very important demarcation that still has not been learned. Many people make excuses for not being fit or not being healthy or not being um, active when it comes to fitness or going to do exercises. They just say that I love my body. As much as body loving or not, body shaming is a problem, being able to accept your body as it is while not working on it is also as much of a problem. So when you make requests to someone else, this is a very different point again. When you make requests to someone else to fulfill our needs, for example, if your mom is watching some video on YouTube right next to you and you're watching some other video on your laptop, instead of saying that, can you please stop it, or can you please, like, not make so much noise, I can't listen here. You can just say that, I am listening to something else over here. Can you please use the headphones while playing your own video? So by doing this, you're not making vague complaints or making it sound like a complaint. You're just allowing the situation to change in a very polite and nice manner. So, and also to the parents over here, you should you while you're the primary caregiver in your own way, providing financial care and nurturing the child with food and shelter isn't just your responsibility. I mean, isn't only your responsibility. It should also be about mental first aid, and it's also about psychological first aid. And you should also know how to do that. Giving the child the space, maintaining the confidentiality, and respecting the boundaries. This helps the child to confide in you without having any repercussions. And of course, regulating one's emotions and reactions also need to be practiced at home every day. And providing a comfortable and safe zone for the child is a very important aspect. And focus on inculcating self realization without physically hurting the child. Indian parents, they have always been into punishing the child while hitting the child, or locking them in the bathroom or putting them in the bedroom for a long time, or just thinking that grounding them would be a very good idea, but that's not how it happens. Some methods that work on children or parenting can also be negative reinforcement, positive reinforcement, and reward giving. And it's safe for the child, and it also creates a safe space for the child, and of course, like, the child will feel more comfortable confiding in you. And with that, I think I can stop sharing. Just a minute. Yeah,
Okay,
I
well,
am.
Miss
I
Pragya,
am.
oh,
I am
are
open
you
for
continue?
questions.
Okay, so would you prefer to answer them in video or would you want to answer them in the chat?
I can answer a few questions on video. I think I can take a few.
Okay, great. So we have one question right now, which is about trust and trust with the people you've built this community, right? This sort
Yeah.
of small community. So how does one know and identify people who are trustworthy, and what can make us, ourselves more trustworthy? And yeah.
Right. Very important. I knew I would get a question like this. Again, you can never know who is trustworthy and who's not. The only thing that you can do is to give the other person your best. If you meet someone for the first time, you build a rapport with the person, you spend time with the person, you get to know that person, you would know by then, after a point of time that, okay, this is someone that I would want in my life for a long time. And once you know that, you would also want to invest your time into that person emotionally, physically, anyhow. You would want to help that person out. You would also want to share your pain, your experiences. And once you know that, okay, this person has a certain kind of caliber to be there for me, I would want to do that for the same way. And and when you start doing that for the person, which is why I said that, you're supposed to be initiating and you're supposed to be reciprocating. These things matter. When you do this, the other person would also want to trust you. When the other person sees that, okay, this is one person I can go to because he's always been there for me, I should also be available for this person. And that by being trustworthy or making your own self trustworthy, you're making the other person open to also being trustworthy. But you can never know whom to trust. Of course, it's all about, self growth and evolution and evolving as a person and developing your personality. Because of course there are going to be betrayals in your life. There are going to be people who you thought were very nice and were really nice, really good for people, but then they're going to turn out to be something else. And in those times, you should know that, it wasn't your fault. Always remember that.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Pragya. That was really nice.